Hello, Devin. It's October 2nd, 2016. It's a Sunday, and it is a beautiful, wonderful day here in Tallahassee. It's like 79 and like 10% humidity, which just has not happened at all in my experience living here. I'm in Mission San Luis Park, which is kind of a jungle. Um, yeah, it's right next to my house, which means I can just like walk out the door, turn left, and I'm in forest. Not the same forest as home, but a forest. And that's something. I had a weird dream last night about school, actually, and talking to my advisor about research and what my thesis project was going to be. And I had this fairly mundane idea relating to the work someone else is doing in the lab that could relate to work I want to do. And I woke up and like the idea is sound. It's not revolutionary, and it may have been something I thought about before and forgot, I don't know. But it's rare that my brain actually like positively surprises me in that kind of way. There's a famous story of the German organic chemist August Kekulé, I think is his name. He published a paper accurately theorizing benzene to be a 6-carbon ring with alternating double bonds. And until this point, people weren't really sure what benzene was. It kind of threw a hitch in our theories. And his explanation, which opened the doors to think about aromatic organic compounds, which are an interesting class of materials. And I guess the lesson there is like, yes, sometimes your brain can come up with miraculous revelations while you're asleep, but you sort of have to be an established organic chemist in the first place. Like, he had been working on, I think, this class of molecules for years up to that point. And it just happened to come to him in a dream, whereas he might have figured it out one afternoon on a walk or even just working in the lab. So I don't know if my ideas will be as successful. Hopefully they will. But at this point, I'm not even like working on research. I'm just doing teaching and class, which are both fun. Control systems lab is interesting. The class is teaching me a ton about control systems. I saw another person, and just the experience of other derailed my train of thought. Curse you, Jean-Paul Sartre. What was I saying? I took a 1-credit lab course in UP, which is like, this is way deeper than that. And thankfully I'm not responsible for the lectures. Someone else is doing that. But I'm like the only person who knows LabVIEW. So that's my responsibility, is doing the labs. And we should probably work more on them this week. We're very much like figuring it out as we go. We thought the professor was gonna take more responsibility for it. She's like, nope, you guys go, you do it. And we're like, okay. Which kind of mirrors the students' first experience in my lab. Virtually no one, including the other TA, has worked at any length with LabVIEW. So we kind of just like threw them in and said, here, try to, like, this is how you turn LabVIEW on. Like, you need to jump through these hoops to make it work right. And then go. Like, write a script that does this. And, like, people went all kinds of different directions with it. It was a little bit of a train wreck. But, I mean, in that, we've taught them a lot about how LabVIEW works. And hopefully have made them more comfortable with it. And so now we're kind of stepping back and saying, is that really the point to teach them about LabVIEW, or was the point to teach them about control systems? And I don't know the answer to that. Is it better to just throw people into the deep end, or to hold their hands? I'm sort of introspective about my own teaching philosophy these days, because it feels more and more like something I'll be doing. When I'm like explaining like engineering concepts to Katie, or to one of my students, or just like describing something in research, what is the most concise way to communicate information? I think is really the crux of teaching. Is it? I don't know. It's a crux of teaching. So yeah, that's life right now. What else is happening? Oh gosh, so school is tons of fun. I love it. Except, and this surprised me, they call it ME analysis. It's supposed to prepare you for taking qualifying exams. It has been really difficult. And it's just review of all the math we've done in our undergrad. Like, I seem to be struggling with the homework, even though I'm not struggling with the material. It seems to be an issue of jumping through all the hoops this professor wants. We had the first, giant spiderweb, we had the first exam Wednesday, and it was Blair. It was very rough. And so a couple weeks ago, when he hands back the first homework, he's like, so graduate students are required to maintain a B- in all of their courses, so I expect after the first exam, many of you will be dropping this class. And we're like, oh, okay, thanks for the comfort. And so it's like, I studied my brains out for the first exam. I studied for like 12 hours the week leading up to it, not all at once, in chunks. And I did like half a dozen practice tests. I felt prepared, like I knew the material, I knew what kinds of questions he was going to ask, but it was still terrible. And I've never felt, well, that's not true. Besides OChem, I've never felt that bad about a test. And there are mitigating factors, like he told us up front, the first test is usually the hardest, and also he grades on a 15-point scale, so a B- is really 70% instead of 80. I don't know, it kind of scares me, to be honest. I need to take 9 credits to maintain my tuition waiver, and I can't get below a B in order to stay in the program. Like, I've had stressful grade situations before, but never has my like future in a program been riding on it. So there's an unfortunate but non-zero possibility that I would like fail out of the program. And I'm like, it may seem weird that I'm just upfront telling you about this, and it does seem a little weird that I'm putting on a video. But I think too often we try to catalog our successes and sweep our failures under the rug. That seems to be the mode of social media these days. And I mean, first of all, I think that you and I have a friendship that's beyond that. Like, we can share our struggles with each other and with anyone else who's gonna watch these videos. All single digits of them. It's probably you, me, Michaela, and Katie. Maybe Marissa if she gets wind of it. And like, it's a very safe space in that friendship. I trust all of those people. But also, I don't know. I think the urge to present this perfect view of yourself is kind of a problem. And as I've told you, it's a problem I struggle with, trying to cultivate my image too much. Like just now, I didn't like the way I said that line, and so I said it like 3 times in order to get it right. Even though clearly my point was communicated the first time and the second time. I just had to enunciate and be articulate. Anyway, just the experience of being confronted with, oh my gosh, I might not make it in a master's, has been scary. But it's also like revealed to me that I'm afraid not only of like losing this opportunity, but also of like embarrassing myself and letting myself down and letting Katie and my family and my friends down because they need me to get a master's. I don't know. Anxieties don't make sense, really. So I guess it's been revealing about anxiety in general. Like, I've been losing peace over it. Kind of revealing that my peace is sort of centered in myself and in my abilities and in the affirmation I'm getting for being accepted into a master's and being given a TA-ship. That the institution is saying, yes, Blair, you're smart and we like you, rather than having my security and my peace in God. So that's a lesson. Anyway, I don't want to take the whole video to talk about things I'm struggling with, because mostly life is really good. Like, we have a lot of great friends here, and school is really fun. The weather is wonderful. It reminds me of Oregon, which I miss terribly. I was thinking today about how in every new stage in my life, I find myself missing the things from the last stage. When I went to college, it was hard not having my mom's amazing cookies all the time and being in a new place and suddenly not being the smartest person in every class, but being relatively average for our engineering, because we went to a great school and had a lot of really intelligent peers. And then when we graduated, it was difficult not having school, period, because like I'd gotten really used to that institution and I functioned really well in it, present circumstances notwithstanding, and just loved having specific measurable objectives, being surrounded by a group of amazing peers. And then now that I'm out here with Katie, I've missed the time I had living with the Stanleys. I actually do miss my job a little bit. Like I know I complain about it sometimes, but it was a good job and I was lucky to have it. And it was a wonderful living situation. Oregon's beautiful, and just the opportunity to go anywhere and like go on runs, and it's just always cool and perfect and amazing. Not always, but you know what I mean. Training for the half marathon was a ton of fun, and I had the time and energy to devote to training, and then running the race went well. So yeah, I guess the lesson there is pretty obvious, that there's always going to be change, and that's going to mean losing some things you love, and that's hard. But if you're constantly finding new things you love in new situations, why lament losing them when you can be focused on making new ones? Which I think I'm starting to find in Tallahassee. I don't know if it quite feels like home yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, I've kind of been walking in circles for a while because Mission San Luis is really not that big, especially compared to like Forest Park. So yeah, Devin, I hope this video finds you well, and look forward to hearing from you in the future. Where am I?